Remember all those things you told yourself you were going to do by the end of 2015? Well, time is running out. Chris Otto here from Bank of Hawaii here to help us through one of our financial goals. We'll start with this from Floor. I have $87,000 in my old employer's 401k invested in money market. I expect to retire in 10 years. Any suggestion on where I can invest with minimal risk of losing money?
That's a great question, Floor. It's a little difficult for me to answer that question without knowing more specifics about your particular 401k plan's investment options. Now, with that said, the good news is that all 401k plans are required to provide a broad diversification lineup of investment options for their participants. So I'm pretty confident that Flora can find a suitable investment option. My suggestion is that she talk to her plan's investment advisor to sit down and look at all the plans available to her in that 401k plan and compare it against her time horizon, her risk tolerance, and of course her retirement goals.
So for people who no longer work with that same company, do they keep the money in the 401k account? Do they roll it over to an IRA? Do they cash out? What do they do?
That's a super good question, Steve. And the reason is a lot of people don't realize that if you have over $5,000 in your 401k plan at work, you technically can't be forced out of the plan to roll it over or take a distribution. Now, if you have less than $5,000, it's a little trickier. So if you don't make an election on what you want to do with your funds when you leave your employer, technically they can roll your money over into an IRA of their choosing. Again, it's at their choosing, so you're not going to get to pick the investment options. Now, if you have less than $1,000, it's actually even worse. If you don't make an election and you don't come back and tell them what you want to be done with your money, they technically can just send you a check, and that's going to be subject to penalties and taxes.
Well, Flora is well over that, so she has a lot of options.
Yeah, Flora is kind of in the sweet spot. So Flora, you have several options. The first one is, again, if you like the investment options after you speak with your investment advisor, you can leave it in the plan. The second option could be roll it to an IRA. Again, if you feel like there's more options available in an IRA that suits your needs. The third option would be check with your new employer if you have a new employer and see if they accept 401k rollovers. A lot of them do, but not all of them are required to. So check with them. It would make sense a lot of times to consolidate your assets into one 401k plan. And last but not least, if you leave your employer, you technically can take a distribution. But again, if you're under the age of 59, that's going to be subject to taxes and potential penalties.
Of course, we understand it varies person to person, but at least hopefully this helps. By the way, keep your questions coming to our Hawaii News Now Facebook page. For Chris Otto, I'm Steve Uihara.